For this exercise, we're going to look at the posting process of posting cash. On page 124 in your book, it lists a list of transactions, and we are supposed to put these in order. So the first thing I did to make it easy, since this is just one example, is I listed all of the dates in order. And then what I did was I listed each transaction if it was a debit or a credit. And without the book, this was the easiest way to explain it. But normally we would go one at a time. So as you would list the February 1st, and we have a debit of $6,400. Then the most important thing we're trying to figure out is the balance. Like, how do we find the balance? That's the purpose of a ledger, is to keep a balance. So, and you don't have to color these in. But if we have a $6,400 debit balance and nothing as a starting, then we would have a $6,400 debit balance. And I like to just hit equals working in Excel. The next one, now remember, all of your debits, all of our balances are going to be in this column. So I'm actually going to take out the credit column because the normal balance is a debit. Where it starts is where it goes. So every balance is going to be in the debit column. So from here, now we have a debit balance. February 3rd, we had a credit. If they are opposite terms, you subtract. So we have debit and credit. We find the difference. So you would hit equals, click on the debit in the balance, minus the credit, which is just like spending cash. We spent cash, $640. So now we're left with $57.60. And then we're going to keep going. So the next one, we also spent an additional $952. So we are going to subtract that from the balance because we're taking away. And then this next one, we're adding in. We got $1748 and we have $4808. So you take that and you add to it. So if they're like terms, we're going to add. And we continue the exact same way the whole way down. 65 minus the 1200. We hit equals 53 plus 4600 equals 99.56 plus 980. By now you should be irritated and it should be bothering you to be doing the same thing over and over again. So for the sake of it, I'm going to show you that we're going to finish it up, see what we get, and 7094 add 5900. I hope some of you are going, I can figure this out, I can do this better. And in cash, we can actually do this where we create one formula and you drag it down. Logically, if you think, what would we need to happen in both? If they were all subtracting, we could drag down. So if you remember, we can click and drag. So the first one, so just for kicks, I'm going to erase this. The first one we have to do always. Now I'm going to get to here, and I want to make a formula that I can just drag down the block. So I always want to take my previous balance. If it happens to be a debit, I want to add it. So I'm going to click the debit cell of the next line. And if it's a credit, I would always subtract from cash. So then I'm going to hit minus. Now I run into a snag that I can't type this box because of how I'm zoomed, but it's G10 is the cell block, G10. So I'm just going to type G10. And then I'm going to hit enter. And if you remember, that's the same number. So previous balance plus any debit minus any credit, and it makes this formula, and then I click my bottom box and I just drag down, and voila, we get the same number we had before, but we didn't have to do all that work. So this is what we'll be doing. Please follow and fill this in with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.